Hey guys, people have been asking me to post like how I do my everyday makeup. I was actually wearing makeup, but I took it off. I was actually in the middle of doing the video, but my parents came home, so kind of have to start again. Basically what I said was I kind of like washed my face in the morning. Like I didn't wash my face now, I just kind of took my makeup off using this Dove foaming makeup remover. It's a, whoops. And then I think it's really important to prime your face. So I use two different products because this one has an SPF and this one doesn't. This one's more of a liquid type of product, so it's like really good for protecting your face. But as far as like a primer goes, sorry, I'm out of breath, I ran up the stairs. Yeah, as far as a primer goes, like I want something that fills in more and provides better canvas for putting your foundation on. So basically this is the Kanebo Impress Makeup Base. It's a Japanese brand and I got it in Korea when I went there at the beginning of the year. So I kind of just put on like a little bit. As you can see, not much at all. I don't tend to prime the entire face because I think that's a complete waste of product. You don't need it. Just in the areas which need like more coverage, like your T-zone. And your cheeks. And I also like have a lot of freckles on my upper lip, especially my right side, so I like to kind of prime that bit a bit more as well. Also like my lower nose, I have a couple of freckles. It's really annoying, but oh well. That's okay. So yeah, you don't need much at all. And after that's sort of dried, I get the other one, which is this video is backwards, so sorry if you can't really see it. I'll list all the products below. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Molten Primer in Dark Spot Correcting. So it's not like the original formula, but my cousin gave it to me, so I'm not going to complain. I'll just use it. Apparently it's new here, but it's been out for a while, I think. This is a thicker sort of primer. It's a little bit on the glimmery side, but because it's under makeup, I don't think you're going to notice it at all. Apparently you can use it... Oh, no, don't worry. That was just my imagination. Okay, so just in those same areas, see how it goes on a little bit thicker. Nose, other cheek. Okay, I'm just gonna put my phone on silent. And forehead. So I like to prime under my eyebrows because I tend to put some concealer there because it's a little bit messy kind of thing. Yeah, okay, so that doesn't take long to dry at all. And usually what I do next is conceal. So I'm using this Smashbox concealer in 3.0. I think that's the color. If I'm like in a rush and don't have any time to do foundation or anything, I really like to conceal just because it does something for my skin. And brush wise, I use the Sigma F70 concealer brush. Again, it's backwards, so I'll just list all the products that I use below. So basically you just kind of hold it and brush a little bit. I hardly ever like put any products like directly to my skin unless they're like lipsticks, but again, like I prefer using lip brushes. So I'm just gonna conceal this. See how it's like a bit lighter than my normal skin tone? And you just like pat it. You don't want to like spread it around physically with your fingers because it kind of just defeats the whole purpose of concealing if you don't want like full coverage of your concealer. Put a bit here. You can see like my skin tone's a bit uneven there. Far out. Okay. So Okay, the screen just turned off. Okay, and just kind of pat it down. Because it's going under, I don't know if I said this before, but because it's going under makeup, it doesn't matter that it's like lighter than your skin tone. If I'm just putting on concealer and no foundation, then I would want to opt for one that's a little bit closer to my actual skin colour. But for the most part, this is okay. If I'm just putting on foundation concealer, then I actually use this, this is a Smashbox Camera Ready Full Coverage Foundation, and it acts kind of like a concealer because it's like in a pot, so you can just like brush it on. It's a bit more like beigey, a little bit darker, so it's a bit closer to my actual skin colour. Okay, so you just like wait for that to set. And I don't know if you can see it. Ooh, just a little bit more. But yeah, it's a little bit more even. And what I'll do next is just put on some foundation. So my usual go-to everyday foundation is this NARS Sheer Glow in Punjab, which is medium 1. I got it in the summer, so I feel like it's a little bit tiny, little bit too dark for me, but because for everyday purposes I'm only putting like a really thin layer, it really doesn't make a difference. Okay, so what I do is I just get like a paddle brush. This is the MAC 190 foundation brush. Like, it's not the only brush that I use, and because it's relatively clean, I don't really mind kind of dipping it into the bottle. I haven't broken out from this, so it doesn't really matter, and I've only got like less than half the bottle left, so it's okay. Okay, so you don't need that much foundation. I use about that much for my entire face. It's lasted me like 6 months, so it's okay. Okay, so I just kind of dab it in these problem areas first. You kind of just want a light coverage first, and then you can build it up later. Okay, so you just like brush it on. Don't worry about streaks. Well, I don't worry about streaks because I'll use a different brush later on. Okay. The thing you want, though, is to blend it really well with your hairline and your neck, because most foundations aren't going to be your like absolute exact skin color, but because it's only like a light coverage, it's fairly forgiving, so you'll be okay in the end. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually quite streaky. And so what I do, first of all, I just want like a tiny little more coverage in the cheek area, because usually you have more imperfections. Oh, there's a bug. More imperfections on your cheek, so I'm just gonna dab a bit more. And as you can see, I'm doing like fairly short strokes, which is what you want. You don't want like a big line. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put that back and get this other brush out. I alternate between the Sigma F80, and this is just get the Sigma F80 out. Where is it? Okay, so this is the Sigma F80, and this is the Sigma F84. They're both really dense, and it's like the Sigmax fibers. They're both really nice to buff with, but because I just cleaned the F80, I'm not going to use it. This, on the other hand, I will use, and it's the F84 Angled Kabuki. So what you want to do is sort of just like buff it in circular motions. Sorry, my screen went off again. So just do it in circular motions. It's the hairline, the eyes. You can't see it, but I don't think this foundation is like perfectly matching me anymore. Like, it's a really good summer foundation. I'm just gonna buff it quickly. And that's done. If you can see, it's a little bit nicer. Like, my skin is more even and like the color is more even and stuff. And that concealer doesn't show through because you've just put makeup on top of it, and because it's darker it'll hide it anyway. Okay, because this is the Sheer Glow and not the Sheer Matte foundation, I almost always set it with a powder unless I'm so pressed for time that I just have to go. So this is the MAC Prep and Prime Transparent Finishing Powder, and it's a really nice powder, except it's loose, so unless there's like a snap closure, I'm not going to repurchase any sort of loose powders. I don't like them. Because like when you're traveling and stuff, I should probably close this foundation bottle. But as I was saying, like when it's in your makeup bag and you're on the go and it just like goes everywhere, it's super annoying. And so I alternate, so back to powder. I alternate powder brushes. I'm still really puffed. I'm super unfit. All I did was like walk up the stairs. So alternate between this Sigma F30 large powder brush and this RMK face powder brush. And if you can see, there is quite a difference between the size handles, but as far as the head goes, it's not too bad. Like, it's quite similar. This RMK one is like really, really soft, really, really nice, and so it's my brush of choice. But when it's drying, I use the other one. Like, I like both. Okay, so what I do is just get the lid so it's ready. I sort of just like get the powder and the brush and sort of just like dip it in lightly. And so there's about this much powder in it. And you're not going to apply that directly to your face, otherwise you will be over powdered. And I get the lid and I just swirl it, and so it just distributes the powder way more evenly onto the brush. And as you can see, it's quite a lot nicer. And the one thing to know with powder brushes and applying powder in general is that you don't want to sweep it onto your face because it'll move all your foundation, and that's just completely counterproductive. So instead, just get your skin and your brush and just pat the powder onto your face, and that'll deposit it really evenly, especially if you have a good powder brush. And if you've run out of powder to your brush, just kind of swell it back into the lid, and it should deposit a little bit more powder into your brush. So just sort of, and if you just have a quick feel of your skin, it should be a lot smoother, like not a little bit dry, whoops, a little bit drier, but still good. It's good, and once it's set, you can sweep off the excess very lightly, like a little flicking motion, I think is what we used to describe. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that brush back, and after this step, that's when I usually do my eye makeup, but because it's already done, I'll just skip the step. But I will tell you what products I use. I like to prime my eyelashes by firstly curling them. I use the Uemura eyelash curler. I've used it since like year 10, so I'm not going to change it because it's amazing and I love it. And then for a primer, I use this Eyelash primer from Etude House. I got it when I went to Korea. And I alternate between this Clinique High Impact Mascara and Benefit Bad Girl. Mascaras, I don't really tend to be too picky because I think all of them do the same thing, especially for Asian eyelashes because they're short. And eyeliner wise, I use the Uemura liquid eyeliner pen. It's refillable and amazing and I love it. Okay. And after I do that, while I'm waiting for like my mascara and stuff to dry, I usually do my eyebrows. This is the Lioele automatic auto eyebrow pencil in grey black, and I use this crayon, it's just a twist up, to outline my eyebrows. So I'm just gonna get a mirror because I can't really use this laptop. Oh, I'll try anyway. Okay, this is really hard. I'm gonna put the mirror up here so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I sort of just like put relatively thick line the bottom of my eyebrow just so I can have a nice shape. I add the point, like I elongate a little bit, and then I fill in at the top. I really like this pencil because it's quite natural looking, so it can actually go quite heavy because the colour's really light and it's not too pigmented like some of the other products that I've used. Some people like a really like drawn on effect, but I prefer the more natural look. So that's about all I'll do for outlining, I think. I'll do the other one too. The other one I'll just do quickly. That's about all I'd do. And then to fill in, I use this Lioele Mixed Eyebrow Cake. And I'm not sure what the colour is, but I think it might be the darkest one. Oh, you can see me, hello. And I just use this cheap brush, I don't know where I got it. So you just get a little bit of product and you just fill in, literally. And the other eyebrow as well. Seriously, this video is really annoying me. Oh well, almost done. Okay, and as you can see, like it's a little bit fuller than before. Usually what I do, but because of time's sake, I won't do it in this video, is I like to actually, I will just do it, but I can't find it. Okay, I'll just take that same concealer brush that I use. I just like to highlight my eyebrows / conceal under so it doesn't look so messy. So just get a little bit of product and just put it under the eyebrows. And get my concealer brush and just sort of like, that was a complete fail. Okay, that's up. Oh, it was not too bad. Fixable. And just sort of like, messed it up a little bit, but that's okay. Like, went too far in, but that's because I didn't have a mirror or anything. And just sort of like blend it out. So what that does is it just cleans up the bottom. Usually do it up the top, but I think I didn't have time to do it down the bottom. Okay. So yeah, it just kind of highlights the eyebrows a little bit. And there you go. And the last thing I do like in an everyday makeup thing, obviously this is not gonna take that long, it's just because I'm like shooting a video, is I apply blush. So this is my favorite blush in the entire world. This is NARS Gilda. And I love it because it's like a coral color and it's matte and I hate glitter. So that's me. And today I'm going to be using the Bobbi Brown blush brush and I love it. So what you do is you just sort of like pat a little bit of product onto the brush and sort of find, I don't apply blush to like the apples of my cheeks, rather I find my temple, which is like here, and I just sort of go down and I stop about here. So I'm just gonna put my mirror here so I can see it. So I don't need it. If you can see, it like deposits a little bit of colour, and that's actually a lot more pigmented if you see it in the mirror. I will buff it out later. And you just do the same on the other side. I'm trying to buff it out a little bit just with this brush. But if that's not enough, I usually take this MAC 182 Kabuki brush and I just sort of buff it out and it just diffuses the colour a lot better. I don't think you can actually see much, but there's actually quite a lot of blush on my cheek at the moment. A little bit more than I'd like, but that's okay. Just do some on the other side. Okay. And that's my everyday makeup, pretty much. If I was going out afterwards, I would probably put a bit of bronzer and highlighter on, but because it's like everyday makeup, you don't need it. People are not gonna really care whether you've contoured your cheeks or not, and for everyday purposes, I don't either. So yeah, that's just like this line of blush here. So yeah, enjoy. Peace out, Girl Scout.